started in the early hours of the morning, a gentle patter against the windowpane that gradually grew into a steady, rhythmic drumming. By the time Sarah woke up, the world outside her bedroom window was awash of grey and silver, the sky blending seamlessly with the rain-soaked streets. Sarah loved rainy days. There was something about the way the rain transformed the world, making everything seem softer and more introspective. It was as if the rain gave her permission to slow down and embrace the quiet. After a leisurely breakfast of toast and jam, Sarah pulled on her favorite sweater and a pair of rain boots. She grabbed an old, battered umbrella from the stand by the door and stepped outside. The air was cool and fresh, filled with the clean, earthy scent of rain. She opened her umbrella and set off down the street, enjoying the feel of the rain tapping against the fabric above her head. The town was unusually quiet, the usual bustle of morning activity muted by the rain. Sarah passed by the bakery, where the smell of fresh bread wafted out into the street, mingling with the scent of rain. She could see Mrs. O'Leary inside, her hands busy kneading dough, and gave her a wave. Mrs. O'Leary smiled and waved back, a flowery hand leaving a white smudge on the glass door. Sarah continued her walk, heading toward the park at the edge of town. The park was one of her favorite places, especially on days like this when it was almost deserted. The rain had turned the grass a vibrant green, and the trees seemed to glow with a rich, deep color. She walked along the path, enjoying the solitude, the only sounds the soft patter of rain and the occasional rustle of leaves. As she reached the small pond in the center of the park, Sarah spotted a figure sitting on one of the benches. It was an old man, hunched over with a large, green umbrella resting against his shoulder. He looked up as she approached, and Sarah saw that his eyes were a bright, twinkling blue, full of warmth and kindness. "Good morning," she said, smiling. "Good morning," the old man replied, his voice rich and deep. "Not many people out and about on a day like this." "I love the rain," Sarah said, taking a seat on the bench next to him. "It's so peaceful." The old man nodded. "It is. There's something about the rain that makes everything feel a little more magical, don't you think?" Sarah nodded, and for a moment they sat in companionable silence, watching the raindrops ripple the surface of the pond. A family of ducks paddled by, the mother leading her ducklings in a neat line, their feathers glistening with moisture. "Do you come here often?" Sarah asked after a while. "Every chance I get," the old man replied. "My wife used to love this park. We'd come here together, rain or shine. She passed away a few years ago, but I like to think she's still with me, especially on days like this." "I'm sorry," Sarah said softly. "That must be hard." "It is," the old man said. "But it's also comforting, in a way. Being here makes me feel close to her." They sat in silence for a while longer, watching the rain fall. Eventually, the old man stood up, leaning on a cane Sarah hadn't noticed before. "Well, I should be getting home," he said. "It was nice talking to you." "You too," Sarah replied, smiling. "Take care." "You as well," the old man said, tipping his hat before walking slowly away, his umbrella bobbing with each step. Sarah watched him go, a warm feeling spreading through her chest. She stayed in the park a little longer, enjoying the quiet and the rain, before finally heading home herself. As she walked back through the town, she thought about the old man and his story. It reminded her of how precious the simple moments in life could be, and how important it was to cherish them. By the time she reached her front door, the rain had started to lighten, the grey clouds beginning to part to reveal a hint of blue sky. Sarah closed her umbrella and stepped inside, the warmth of her home wrapping around her like a cozy blanket. She made herself a cup of tea and settled down by the window, watching the last of the raindrops slide down the glass. It had been a beautiful, rainy day, and she felt grateful for the quiet magic it had brought into her life.